Good morning, people. So we finally got the engine in and started after what, nearly 4 months now since it broke the timing belt on the old engine and started the new build. But it's a lot more than an engine, obviously, that's gone into it. I lost a good bit of footage, so there's starting the new engine, removing the old engine and fitting the new engine all in this. So it's kind of very short for all that's done, like, but give it a watch anyway. If you like anything about the build or hate anything about the build, give a comment below and like it, and hopefully we can try and grow the channel a bit. Thanks, enjoy. Have the old engine pulled out and everything as well. I have to relocate these fuel lines as well. They're actually going to, from what I'm thinking, they'll probably go across the gearbox, up along this chassis rail, and out to the front to a diesel cooler on the return side. So they'll probably, the feed will come up here into the tandem hump, and then the return will come back down around into a cooler here, and then back into the original cooler, and then into the tank. Not looking too amazing, but every time I take a fucking clutch out, there's chunks out of it from all-wheel drive launches, so they don't last too long. But we'll put it in anyway and see how it goes. This is the factory cooler here, and normally it runs up along here, up them pipes along the chassis rail, and then kind of see it there along there. I have no space really over that side, that's where the tower was going to sit, so it's going to be too hot down there, and I need an extra cooler anyway. Factory one wasn't doing enough, so what I've done is I've actually looped it across here. Now all that has to be, there's going to be a steel plate across that, so I can't get it. Then the pipes come around and go up over the gearbox, back down that side, and run all the way up. Chassis rail there, up to the front. Then I have the fuel filter and the fuel cooler in this side here, so it'll leave a good lot more space around the engine and hopefully keep the diesel a lot cooler, which helps stop melting pistons too. Tandem pumps down there, fuel pipe runs from that straight down. I can't see it here. There. So straight across from here, in, under, and across, and that goes to the feed. Then this is the feed from the tank, and that runs down along into this pipe here. And then this other pipe is our return. So our return comes from the bottom of the. I can't see it there now. No. But basically, that's the return there with the sensor in it. So that comes from the bottom of the tandem pump. That's just a fuel temperature sensor, and then that runs down along the back here into the thermostatic valve, and then down into the cooler here, and then across the other side it comes out. Oh sorry, no, it comes in this side, and then it comes back out this side and back down then along the chassis rail. So as you can see, it runs down along the chassis rail and then across the gearbox as I showed earlier. That's it all mounted up there. Right. Yeah. Here's the better at that. Yeah. Like volume, so? Yeah. Nope. She starts. Sweet. So we just started it for the first time there, and we had our first problem, which was oil leaking from this fitting that I welded on. So as you can see, I went across. Sorry, it's not focusing. There we go. I went across and re-welded it. It was just leaking through a little point there, so I went through and just re-welded the whole lot just to be safe. And as you can see, it's it doesn't look great, but that's because once I welded it, I just kept running the bead along it back and forth, just to keep the heat in the piece so that it wouldn't crack or anything. Because I didn't preheat it and I didn't heat it after welding it, and that's cast steel, so happy enough with it now, should be alright. The original earth on these goes from here up there up to the engine mount, but because there's wastegate pipe in there, you actually can't get to it anymore. Just one light, so you can't get to it anymore. So what I've done is I made a new one and I've ran it around and just up to the side of the block here, so she should be perfect with that. Just need to fix it up obviously once the front goes on. We get around to that. The savage sunset out. Got the electric actuator wired up as well, and that's just tiger sealer just to seal it off, because I put these are actually pins, so that slides on, these slide on, and then just fill it with tiger sealer. And then we have just a connector there, so you can disconnect it then. Just makes it a bit easier, especially because that won't be accessible once the front of the car is on very easily. And as you can see, it's very tight there anyway, so that's all wired up. We just need to, that's only temporary, I need to get an eyelet for that. And other than that, the actuator side of things is done. Then I have the manual boost controller just put in here as well. And it's come down to the wastegate, but I don't have the fittings into the intercooler pipe yet, so that'll be soon on the agenda as well. Got the wiring tidied up for the actuator. It just runs down along and underneath the chassis rail there. And I actually have it wrapped in, you can kind of see it there, blue silicone. It was wrapped in tape then after that, just to make sure it doesn't rub through or anything. Now we have this mounting bracket then for just to keep that secure. And we need to leave the N75 there just so it doesn't throw a fault code. So I just have it tucked up there, and I have a bit of a droop on the wires so the water can run off them rather than sitting into the connectors. Then we have the EGT and EMP. So this is the EGT and then this is the EMP. So that running into the cooler, which is just the pipe wound round the bottle basically to coil it, and then back up, and then it'll go into a pipe and inside then, and then I already had this gauge fit, the EGT gauge fitted, so it's just a matter of putting the sensor into this. Now that's not the ideal spot for it either, but it was too difficult to get it into the actual center of the collector while still having space to work around it basically, because it is very tight once this other turbo goes on. Doing up the downpipe here, and it is very tight. Let's see if we can get the light on here. There we go. So as you can see, down here we have 2 pie cuts and then the straight down to the bottom, and then up the top here we have the V-band and 2 pie cuts and half a 90, so 45, just because we need to clear here. And even at that, now it needs to be twisted a bit that way. It's just on loose here at the minute, but it needs to be twisted that way a little bit, and that will bring it away. But we only have about a finger of clearance, which is all you need really. So downpipe fully done now. Not too bad, it was straight enough apart from the end bits here. Let's do that just to bring it round and down a bit further, because it's real tight here into the gearbox now. So I'm probably mount it to the gearbox mount on a rubber bush itself, just so it's not knackered. We'll put a bit more stress on the flexing, which will be okay with the solid, well, polyurethane engine mounts, because it won't move as much as the standard engine mounts.